Debate about social class. It's crucial to differentiate between the working and middle classes, a task that Sir Keir Starmer has seemed to struggle with. Let's have a listen to what he thinks working class means.
You describe yourself as working class. Sir Keir, define working class.
No, working class is families that work for their living, earn their money through going out to work every day, not through other means.
Middle classes do that?
Well, working class families have the ordinary hope to get on in life. I mean, this has been the story.
Middle classes have that?
Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do.
So what's the distinction?
I was addressing a particular thing, I think, with working class.
I love it. I love it. Well, doesn't the middle class do that as well? So basically, he says people who go to work. That was Sir Keir Starmer speaking on LBC a while back or so. So for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, does Sir Keir Starmer understand the working class? After all, that's kind of who the Labour Party were meant to represent. Let's see what my panel make of that. I'm joined by broadcaster and journalist Danny Kelly, and also broadcaster and author Christine Hamilton. Well, I mean, we couldn't stop laughing.
That was
Christine.
Broadcasting gold, wasn't it? Almost as good as Does He Know What a Woman Is?
He, the woman. What do you think, Christine?
Well, I think it's a totally outdated concept, isn't it? Working class. We all know what it used to mean. It's, the people who worked in the steel mills and et cetera, et cetera. We all know what working class used to mean, but it doesn't any longer. It is an outdated concept. Obviously, I mean, Keir Starmer's definition. That's all three of us, for goodness' sake. We go out to work. Some people work from home, of course, but basically we're all working class. But what Keir Starmer is he is the political elite. And the division now is between the ordinary people and the elite. And Keir Starmer is definitely the elite, the woke liberal elite. He doesn't understand ordinary people, which is why he took the view that he did over Brexit. He didn't, and that's why the establishment was so horrified when Brexit happened, because they were so out of touch with what ordinary people felt. I mean, can you imagine Keir Starmer down at a working men's club? No. He's the sort of guy who would just to try and be down with the lads. He would order a beer, but he'd have half a pint.
But he might argue that he grew up in a very working class household, so in his mind...
Yes, but that doesn't make him working class. And I think people who just... observers who watch people like him trying to hang on to his parents' roots, they don't respect that. The people they respect are people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, who is not working class, who makes no attempt to hide what he is, and people respect him for that.
Well, I don't think he'd get away with it if he tried.
No, but Starmer tries, and he's trying to hang on to his working class upbringing. He is no way is Starmer working class. He's not.
But you sort of said, you started saying that there's no sort of a definition for it, but now you've said that he definitely isn't working class.
OK, all right, caught on my own petard. But, I mean, it used to be, anybody of my vintage knows exactly what working class used to be. It doesn't... Is somebody who works in McDonald's serving burgers, are they working class? Not necessarily, no. I mean, it's a concept... I just think it's an outdated concept now.
Danny Kelly.
I think you can more clearly define it by your income nowadays. I think... And you can almost geographically... parochially, you can define it by a location. So if you live on a council estate in the West Midlands and you're earning, and I'm just going to pluck a figure from thin air, but if you're a husband and wife and you're both earning, say, 23 grand each, and you live on a council estate in the West Midlands and maybe you're buying the council property, I think you're working class. I think I once was working class, but I don't think I am working class anymore based on that definition. I have my own business outside of the BBC. Oh, the BBC.
No,
sorry.
here we go.
I don't work for them anymore. I have my own business.
You don't.
I do my broadcasting as well. So I don't think I'm working class, but I was definitely at one point working class. I was a chef working 60 hours a week at a hotel earning a pittance. And I was living with my mum and dad, and I would say that at that point I was working class. Now, because of my success and hard work and toil, I have taken myself out of that class, and I definitely don't live in an area which I just described. Well, and my income would preclude me from that.
But it's very fluid now. It used to be absolutely obvious you were working class, middle class, upper class. Now the boundaries are very, very fluid. And yes, the sort of person you've described would possibly be working class. I just think it's an outdated concept.
Well, I don't think it is.
We don't
I don't
need
think it's
any
an
more.
outdated concept because I'll read you the dictionary definition. The social group consisting primarily of people who are employed in unskilled or semi-skilled manual or industrial work. Now, there are still people who do unskilled, semi-skilled or manual or industrial work, and that does exist as a category, I believe, and it's like the blue-collar, white-collar workers, that sort of thing. And I think he should have been able to come up with some sort of definition that was more realistic, and I think that's the crux of why he doesn't connect with his grassroots of his party, because he doesn't know what it is or what it stood for to begin with. I think he's almost confused.
May I just address what you've said? I think you've hit the nail on the head, because the one thing he didn't want to say was the word unskilled. Because one man's unskilled definition is another man's definition of being highly skilled. So an unskilled, let's just say semi-skilled, you can be a cook in a school and you could be classed as unskilled or semi-skilled. Now, for Sir Keir Starmer, a Knight of the Realm, to disparage you demographically by calling you semi-skilled or skilled, you would say, hang on, Keir, although I'm a cook, I am highly skilled.
Yeah.
And that's what he didn't want to say.
Well,
I absolutely agree, because
Well, how's he going to run a country if he's not going to be honest and straightforward?
Good question.
Because that is what the working class and people like you and I are waiting for. And if he's going to keep dancing around the edges, then I'm afraid he can dance off. But this show is nothing without you and your views. Let's welcome our great British voices onto the show, their opportunity to tell us what they think about the topics we're discussing. I've got three of you. I'm going to start with Adrian Gell in Shropshire. Adrian Gell, what do you think about Keir Starmer? It's people who work, people who work, people who work.
Well, I mean, like all champagne socialists, I doubt he has any idea anymore of what the proper working class is. So how can he be? I mean, the class system is now so different to what it was in 1945. Yeah, he was grammar school educated. He went to university before the socialist governments brought in tuition fees in 1998, so he's got no debt to have to pay off as a result. Reportedly, he's worth $7.5 million plus. And with that, how can he possibly consider himself as being working class, especially under the definition that you've just quoted as being working class? He is part of the liberal elite.
But he should be. But if he's asked Well, if he's asked a simple question like that, though, he should be able to give some sort of definition as to what it may mean to a lot of people, because we haven't given up on the definition. David Barham in Watford.
The definition I always remember of working middle and upper class was John Cleese, Ronnie Barker, Ronnie Corbett, up, down, etc. The exact definition is anyone that's working is working class. But unfortunately, Keir Starmer and the liberal elite have actually forgotten all about what the man up north, as they say, thinks. They're not interested in half the things that they're talking about. What they're interested in is who's going to deal with immigration, who is actually going to make things happen. People can't forget that Keir Starmer still doesn't value what people voted for in the referendum. So how can anyone think he values their whole input? He's a fence sitter who's getting more and more splinters trying to avoid the truth.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Philip Hoyt in Hertfordshire.
Hi, Nana.
Can't hear you. Sorry, Nana.
People have to remember is...
Sorry, carry on, Philip.
OK, thank you. Yeah, what people have to remember is that the working class have lost interest in the Labour Party because they've realised that it's the Labour Party's interest to keep them low paid. Because as long as they're low paid, they've got aspirations, excuse the voice, I'm sorry, I've got a terrible cold. They've got aspirations to move up, which is obviously what the Tories always said, and Margaret Thatcher actually did that. She took lots of people out of the working class and they had aspirations to become middle class. So now the problem is, because Labour have lost some, they've caught on, the working class have caught on to the Labour lie. So now that's the reason they want to bring so many immigrants in, because they haven't caught on yet. And as long as they can do a vote, Keir Starmer will be happy.
I think he's lost touch with the people who are working class, and there are many of people who would class themselves as working class, in particular many up north who would say that, and that's why he's probably lost the red wall and the blue wall as well. David Barham, thank you very much in Watford. Philip Hoy, Hertfordshire, and also Adrian Gell.